Hello YouTube, Chris here and welcome to another episode of Mindflayer Games. Today's something different. Today is a day of Dungeons and Dragons. So, I have wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons since I can remember. It's been a few years since I picked up on the podcasts that are out there, Critical Role, Dragon Friends, Drunkens and Dragons. There's a whole range of podcasts and stuff like that, and I actually got the opportunity to play my first game last weekend. So this was a one-shot adventure, and I spent the week prior creating about 3 different characters that I would take to this one-shot, one being a pirate dwarf, the other a halfling bard, and the third I think was a half-orc ranger. I didn't know what I was going to play, I didn't know what to expect, so I basically created a range of characters that I could use, and I would fit those characters into the story, into the, whatever the group needed, whatever the party needed, I would play that character. So when I got there, this was at a local game store, and I was a bit dubious. I wasn't sure how it was going to play, how organised it was going to be, that sort of thing. But yes, it was a huge party. There was 13 party members, I believe, so it was very chaotic at times, and I mean very chaotic. This one shot almost got derailed pretty quickly during the last act of the one shot, but yeah, there was a lot of things I learnt from this, and there's a lot of things that I would like to take forward. I'm hoping that these are done on a monthly basis. I'm hoping next month I'll be able to play again if I get the time. So I actually played a halfling bard, and it didn't really matter about the name or the backstory. It was basically, we were told that we needed a level 3 character, and I chose my halfling bard, who was called Lavender, and yeah, it was my first time, like I said, it was my first time playing, so I kind of picked spells that I thought would be beneficial to the group, and that's why I took the bard, because at the start of the game I was the only bard out of the 13, and then, well, there was 11 or 10 people at the start, and then people joined in and we gained another bard, a tiefling bard, which was really cool. But yeah, so I took Cure Wounds, I took, what else did I took? I took another 2nd level spell which I can't remember, and I also took Vicious Mockery. And the actual campaign, well, the actual the one shot itself was very well done, and there's aspects of this I might use in my own game in the future. Talking of which, I don't know how I'm actually going to put this together, because as much as I want to create a mini Dungeons and Dragons series on the channel, all based around Venkvi and the locations, the characters and that sort of thing, watching the DM at work and how hard our DM worked in order to keep everything on track, to keep conversations going, to keep the story pushing along and running as smoothly as it possibly could, I thought, I don't think I could actually do that. So I'm going to have a few more sessions, and then I will start writing a couple of one-shots that would actually fit into Venkvi. I've got an idea of the start, and if we can get people involved. For me, it's mainly a time issue, that I don't have an awful lot of time. So without having the time to prepare and plan and then execute these one-shots and campaigns, it will be very difficult. And it's also getting people involved. I know a couple of people here in the UK have said they're interested in this sort of thing, which for me would be a lot easier than trying to figure out time zones and having people from all over the world. I know that a few guys in America said that it's something they were interested in, but for me, I think trying to keep it UK based is a must at the moment. So what exactly happened in this little adventure? So we started off, we had no equipment, we only had our armour, we were level 3, so I had a few spells up my sleeve, and we were all criminals. Some convicted wrongly, others, yeah, we were criminals, we were bad guys, and we had to go through this, I think it was called Hangman's Valley. So we started off and the party was pushed forwards by the guards, and we found an encampment to where rat creatures, I can't remember what these are called in D&D, but there was a group of rat creatures. So the barbarians straight down the line and started attacking, and I rolled fairly high on initiative, so I was 3rd or 4th. Now, because this was my first D&D adventure, I was like, well, you know what, I'm going to get some combat in. So I cast Vicious Mockery, and on one of them took a few hit points of damage. And yeah, we cleaned out all these rats, and these rat humanoids, and yeah, then something strange started to happen. So around our necks, all those who engaged in combat had a ghostly noose. Now, we couldn't see them on ourselves, but everybody else could see them on each other. And the noose tightened 1/4. So everyone who physically attacked the rats started to get this ghostly noose around their neck. Now, this was interesting to the fact that we automatically assumed that these rats were bad. And yeah, we were punished for that. So as that passed, we then made our way through to a cave. And in the cave there was dwarven bodies all over the floor, and scorch marks on the wall, and our paladin discovered that there was a dragon here. So we made our way through the chambers, and we found this huge blue dragon. And the dragon was beaten up, it was wounded, and what transpired, like trying to summarise this very quickly, is the dragon was not a threat. So we, after assuming that our actions had consequences in the first act of the game, we held back a little. We saw the dragon was damaged and hurting, and so I decided to cast Cure Wounds on the dragon. Now the dragon started talking, and as we made our way around the dragon, we saw that there was a dwarf within the mouth of the dragon with a sword up through the palate of the mouth. And a conversation transpired. The dragon wanted the dwarf. The dragon was attacked for no apparent reason. The dwarf was arguing the case that the dragon would destroy its village, and so we had a moral quandary. Do we aid the dragon, or do we aid the dwarf? Now, what we decided to do was actually aid the dragon in this situation. So the barbarians and the warriors, they tried to battle the dwarf out of the dragon's mouth. It took a while. I used Mage Hand and try and punch the dwarf in the nuts, which didn't work. But yeah, eventually the dwarf was knocked out of the mouth, and we removed the sword from the dragon's mouth, and the dragon sent us on our way unharmed. So that was a really interesting aspect of the game. So those who attacked the dwarf, they had their nooses tightened, and I didn't actually engage in combat. Well, technically kind of, but it didn't actually affect my noose. So even though I used Mage Hand, I wasn't penalised for that by the DM. Just because I cast Cure Wounds on the dragon. The dragon led us out of the cave, and then we found ourselves in a field with some like a bit of like a Stonehenge type setting. And at first appearances, it was peaceful. There was nothing around. But then after a long rest, we discovered that there was a halfling trapped within one of the stones. Its arm was trapped within one of the stones. Now this is where the group started to fall apart. So being a bit roguish, I don't know why, I decided to pickpocket the halfling necromancer, which it was, and I found 2 spells, and because I didn't want to be a particularly bad guy, I put them back. The halfling was arguing the point that it wanted to be free and to do research and stuff, but then it wanted to be free from the stones, and so our paladin decided to try and cut off the halfling's arm. And when the necromancer halfling was freed, it decided to cast firebolt within this stone circle, and everyone took a lot of damage. I think we lost, well, 3 people got unconscious, but yeah, it was kind of what the hell's going on here. But it was a very fun and very interesting part of the one shot. And then the final part of this one shot, we came to a frost-bitten town. There was a murder scene outside the general stores, and we had to investigate what was going on. There was claw marks and everything. So we started investigating the store, and this part of the one shot was all to do with diplomacy and negotiations and stuff like that, which we probably failed miserably. We went to the back of the general store. I actually opened the till, saw how much money was in there, and because I'm a good guy, or tried to be, I left the money in the till. So yeah, that was interesting. I don't know why I did it, but yeah. So we made our way to the back of the store, and there was a broken window. And this is one of the things I've learned from just playing this first one shot, is when speaking and doing your actions with the DM is to be very, very precise in what you do. Because I thought, you know, because I'm quite dexterous and athletic as this halfling, I'll go through the window. And the DM said, okay, roll dexterity. So I rolled dex, and he started rolling. I was like, okay, what are you rolling for? And he's like, oh, take 3 points of piercing damage from broken glass. Okay, so there's a lesson learned. I should have remove the broken glass, or try to remove the broken glass before climbing through this window. But we did find some tracks on the other side of this window that went into the forest. Cut a long story short, there was a cave, and within it was 30 villagers, lycanthropes, werewolves, and there was a pillar that was holding back some rocks. And the moral quandary of this was, do we kill everybody before finding out what's going on, or do we try and negotiate? For some reason, one of our warriors, barbarians, sorry, decided to snuggle down next to one of these human lycanthropes, and yeah, it was weird. It was good in the way that the fact that these werewolves were living peacefully outside of the village, and that one of the werewolves, the leader's son, had just turned, and it was him who had killed a couple of people in the village, and now the villagers were pissed. And so the idea of this part of the one shot was to negotiate very carefully to try and persuade the son to join the werewolf clan, and for him to be brought up respecting the villagers and to not go on murderous rampage. This didn't particularly happen, but eventually, after a long period of unrest and bad negotiations and possible kidnappings, we did come across a solution, and we made our way out of Hangman's Valley, to which I think it was like half the noose was tightened by the end of this. A couple of people were like 3/4, but they did redeem themselves in certain instances. But yeah, it was a very interesting campaign. I really, really enjoyed it. I can't wait. Hopefully I will do another one very soon as well, and I'll probably report back to it. But it's given me ideas of how I want to start my own little campaign or one shot, which is what I might do. I might do it as a one shot and then see how it goes, and then if it's successful and we get people involved who are interested, then we will continue and hopefully turn it into a Venkhvi campaign. And yeah, that was my first experience with Dungeons and Dragons. I absolutely loved it. I can't wait for the next one. I think I might try a Tabaxi as my next character. I've got a Tabaxi a ranger lined up for the next adventure, so fingers crossed I can make that one. But yeah, I just love going on D&D Beyond and just creating these characters, and yeah, it's very fun. I love Dungeons and Dragons, and I love it even more so now that I've actually had the opportunity to play. I think I prefer it as a player at the moment, and then we'll hopefully move into the DM seat on the channel probably next year, after I've gained the experience and purchased all the necessary books and wrote everything out as I want. That said, players can quickly derail any situation, so as long as it's fairly linear but the players still have the option to explore new places, I think everything will be fine and dandy. It's something different, it's something new, and hopefully it'll be a ongoing feature, maybe once a month, every couple of months on the channel. So until then, I've been Chris, this has been Mindflayer Games, and I will catch you in the next one. Toodle pip. Chris here again, thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, comment down below on what you like, and I will catch you in the next one for some more awesome stuff, some homemade trading card games, some more board games, and some other stuff in between as well. You're really great, and I appreciate you viewing this channel. I'll catch you
in the next one.